My name is Rossella and today I'm going to do the A paper included in this book, More Music Theory Sample Papers, published by ABRSM in 2021. If you haven't done it yet, click on the red button there and subscribe to my channel. You can also find me on Facebook, Theory Virtuoso, and Instagram, Theory Virtuoso. And don't forget that you can always visit my website, theoryvirtuoso.com, where you can find all the videos that I publish. There are music theory videos, tutorials on discovering music theory published by ABRSM, musical quizzes, past and sample exam papers by ABRSM, and piano tutorials to improve your piano performance too. Thank you for watching. Bye! The first section of this exam is dedicated to rhythm. And in the first exercise, we need to circle the correct time signature of the given bars. First of all, give it a look from above and see if you can identify the easiest things, and grouping is also important. For example, in this case, I see a big group of things and a smaller one. This is a crotchet. Is this also a crotchet? I don't think so. There is a quaver here and another quaver here. So this might be more than a crotchet. It might be that in the time signature there is an odd number on the top. Let's have a look at the options that we have. 6/8, 3/4 and 5/8. 6/8 and 5/8 mean 6 or 5 quavers in a bar, and 3/4 is 3 crotchets in a bar. I think we have 2 crotchets so far, but this is not one crotchet, this is one quaver, because 4 demisemiquavers are equal to 2 semiquavers, and 2 semiquavers equals 1 quaver. So it is not 3/4. So in the end, what we need to answer is this: how many quavers are in this bar? 6 or 5? I think there are 5, but let's count together. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So the answer is 5/8. As usual, step by step. Let's have a look at the second one. We have a longer bar, and in fact we have longer time signatures because this is 4/4, 7/4 and 5/4. So in other words, we need to answer this question: how many crotchets do we have in this bar? 4, 7 or 5? Now the grouping here is vital because grouping is strictly related to the time signature. In 4/4 we need to see 2 crotchets plus 2 crotchets separate. So 2 plus 2. And the middle of the bar must be clear. In 7/4 we can have 3 on a side and 4 on the other side, or the other way around, 4 plus 3. What's the difference? It's the composer's decision. It depends on the phrasing, it depends on, well, for example, if the music is connected to lyrics, the rhythm of the lyrics would determine if the piece is 3 plus 4, if the bar is 3 plus 4, or the opposite. Same with 5/4. We can have 2 plus 3 or 3 plus 4. Again, is a choice of the composer, and it doesn't have to be consistent. So in a piece, you can have a bar with 2 plus 3, the next bar 3 plus 2. Similarly, if you have more than one instrument in that piece, you can have one instrument where the bars are consistently subdivided in 3 plus 2, and the other instrument the opposite, so 2 plus 3. So it is very free. But what is not free is 2 plus 2 when we have 4/4. By the way, this is called common time because it's very common to find 4/4. That's it. So let's group together the crotchets. This is one crotchet. This is one crotchet, and I'll tell you why in a second. This is one crotchet, and this is the other crotchet. So the grouping already tells me that there are 4 groups of items therefore it's 4/4. But let's go back to this. This is a sextuplet, and this is an irregular amount of notes into a regular amount of space of time. And 6 semiquavers here in a sextuplet are equal to 4 of the same kind. So 4 semiquavers, which is 1 crotchet. So that's it. So 6 in the space of 4. 4/4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Last one, as usual, let's look at from above, okay? And let's see if we notice something that really catches our eyes. What rings a bell here is the values. The minimum value here is the semiquaver, which is very short. So I do expect a very short value in the time signature. Otherwise, it's a suicide for a musician, but it could happen, We have 3/8, 9/16 and 9/8. 3/8 and 9/8 mean that we have 3 or 9 quavers in a bar. 9/8/16 means that we have 9 semiquaver in a bar. I think that from what I said before, I think the answer is 9/16. But let's have a look. As you can see, I answered the question even without counting because the music speaks itself. We only need to know how to get through it. Okay? Now, 4 demisemiquavers equals 1 quaver. Therefore, 3 semiquavers. Oh, by the way, 9/8, 9/16, there are 3 groups of 3. So in this case, there are 3 groups of semiquavers or 3 groups of 3 quavers each. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. In this case, this is a 3 semiquavers. We can see the minimum denominator, mutual denominator is the semiquaver. So we have 1, 2 and 3 semiquavers. 1, 2 and 3 semiquavers. 1, 2, the dot and the demisemiquaver, and 3. So the answer is 9/16. Sorted. You see? It seemed difficult, but it isn't. I hope this was useful. Let's move on to the next one. In the second exercise, we have a bar written in simple time, and we need to tick which of these bars is correctly written in compound time. Is the same bar correctly rewritten in compound time? Now, we have a few things to say here. First of all, in simple time, we have 2 subdivisions. Therefore, 1 and 2. So this is 3/4, so 3 movements, and each of them has 2 subdivisions. So 1 and 2 and 3 and. In compound time, the subdivisions are 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and. So first of all, we can exclude 6/8 because 6/8 has 2 movements, and here we need 3. So goodbye. Now we have 2 bars with 9/8 as time signature, and both of them could be correct, but the only difference, if we look at it, is this duplet. Let's reflect on this. In simple time, the 2 subdivisions mean that if we have 3 things, 3 quavers in this case, they do not fit in the space of 2 unless we put a triplet sign. Similarly, 2 quavers fit perfectly, but in compound time, these 2 quavers are not enough. So we need a duplet sign for making it possible. I have already said that the answer is this, but let's go step by step. A triplet in compound time becomes a normal 3 quavers. Another triplet, normal 3 quavers. This is the same, by the way. The rhythm could be this, but the subdivisions are always the same. And In this case, this is this, okay? And 2 quavers become 2 quavers with a duplet sign. So where do we have this figure? Here. So the answer is this. Sorted. I hope that this is clear. We don't have to count, we don't have to do maths calculations. We only need to read, look and think musically. As I always say, think musically. Next one. In this third exercise, we need to complete the phrases by adding a number in 6/4. So 6 crotchets in a bar, grouped as a compound time, so 3 and 3. Okay. A duplet of crochet is equal to a number of dotted minim beats. Okay. As I said in the previous question, in compound time, 2 things to be in the space of 3, we need a duplet sign. So this means that 2 of them are in the space of 3. And as one of my students said in one of the lessons where we were reflecting on this thing, it's like going to a fun fair, having 2 tickets, which are enough for 3 people. So basically it's an extra, buy 2 and have 3. Okay, 2 for 3 is an additional thing for free. Because 3 crotchets are a dotted minim, this covers 1 dotted minim. A dotted crochet is equal to a number of demi-semiquavers. So a dotted crochet is made up of 1, 2 and 3 quavers. Each quaver is 4 demi-semiquavers because each quaver equals 2 semiquavers. Each semiquaver is 2 demi-semiquavers. So 4 demi-semiquavers make a quaver. So 4, 8, 12. That's it. Next one. In this 4th question, we need to tick the box that shows the only bar that is grouped correctly. Here, again, we can see that grouping is closely related to time signature. The time signature is 12/8, which means 12 quavers grouped in 3. So 3 groups of quavers. 1, 2, 3. 3 groups of 3 quavers. 1, 2, 3. Sorry, 4 groups of 3 quavers. Okay? Now, as in 4/4, we need to see the half of the bar. So we need to see 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And they have to be even. We can't really have an unbalanced scale here. The 2 halves must be the same. This is grouped in simple time. There is 1 quaver, the other quaver here. There is 1 quaver missing, so it's already wrong. This is grouped correctly. It looks correct because we have 1 quaver, 1 quaver, 1 quaver, 1 quaver, 1 quaver, 1 quaver, and then quaver, 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 quaver. I think this is the correct answer. Let's go to the last one and see if something is incorrect. Quaver, 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 and here there's no reason why we should do this. This is incorrect. Usually we put a dot. Let's go further. Quaver, quaver, and there is 1 missing quaver here. So this is incorrect. The right answer is the second one because we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and it's here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Done. Shall we move on? Question 5. We need to tick across the box to show whether the rests have been added correctly or incorrectly. And again, here it's all relating to grouping. So this first chapter of the exam is relating, yes, to rhythm, but especially to grouping, because it is key. In 3/4, we have 3 crotchets in a bar, and we need to see the 3 movements, 1, 2, and 3. Where this doesn't happen, it's incorrect. 1 crochet is here. This is 1 crochet with a double dot. So 1 crochet plus 1 quaver plus 1 semiquaver. This means that what is needed here is another semiquaver, because we have one semiquaver here. Sorry, it's very untidy. We have a semiquaver here, and we need to pair this up. And as I said in the chapter of Discover Music Theory Grade 4, if you need, go and have a look at it. In that chapter, I do say that when we have the double dot, the note, the main note, must be paired up with a value next to the next. So you need to skip one value and you pair it up with the next one, with the following one. So we have a crochet, we skip a quaver, we pair it up with a semiquaver. So there is a semiquaver rest that is missing here. This is incorrect. I see something that doesn't really make sense to me. Let's have a look. 1, 2, 3. This is 3 quavers in the space of 2. That's correct. We do have 3 quavers here. We have 2 quavers here. So this is, it looks correct, but the rests are wrong. We need to do this. You can have 1, 2, and 3, like here, but you can't have 1, 2, 3. So this is the right version of this. You can tell me, but in the end it is the same. Yes, I know, but the rules are these. And the reason is because if you have 10 other instruments playing with this potential, I don't know, cello, whatever, you would have something in the space, in the second and third space of this triplet. So it needs to be clear what goes with what. And this doesn't really allow it. So this is incorrect. Last one. We have 1 quaver, 1 quaver. This is 1 crochet, 1 crochet, 1 crochet. That looks correct. Perfect. Very straightforward. With this 5th question, we finished the first chapter. Now let's turn the page and let's go on to the second chapter of the exam. It relates to pitch, so notes. We need to tell the name of this note. Now this is in tenor clef, and tenor clef is treble clef -1. So once you read this note in treble clef, you do -1 and you find the name. So if you are unsure, just count step by step. This upper note here on the top of the stave, between the stave, the last line of the stave and the ledger line, would be G, Sol. So from here we go upwards. Sol, La, Si, Do, Re. This will be D in treble clef. -1 is Si, Do. There you go. So let's do this again. Sol, La, Si, Do, Re. D is the name of this note in treble clef. Then we subtract 1 note. D -1 equals C. Done. In the second exercise, we need to tick the right enharmonic equivalent of this note. Now, B, as usual, I write the keyboard. Maybe this is a little bit too long. Never mind, it's done now. Okay, B is here. Could be called C flat, so Do flat. Let's write it down. Do flat. Or La double sharp. Double sharp. Or B. So it has 3 names. Which one do we have here? Do flat. Here it is. Done. Next one. There is a bar written for clarinet in B flat, which means that if we want to transpose it at sounding pitch, we need to transpose it down a major second. So we need to include also the time signature. Now here, first of all, the keyboard. Okay, let's do the signature now. First of all, the key signature. This is in E major or C sharp minor. So from the last sharp, you go up by a semitone and you find the major key. In my system, I don't use the circle of fifths. And if you want to discover all about it, there are very useful tutorials that I've made, and you can find the links in the description below, or you can click the card on the top of this page. Now, E major minus one tone, a major second is one tone, is D major. In D major, D minus one semitone is C sharp, so it has two sharps. This is correct. Now Mi, a tone, this is a tone, a major second, two semitones below is D, correct. Do natural, two semitones below is B flat, and this is B natural, so this is incorrect. La minus two semitones is Sol, and this is correct. Fa natural minus two semitones is Mi flat. Oh, sorry, this is correct. And Fa minus two semitones is Mi flat. And this is incorrect because this is E natural, so X. That's all done. You don't have to use a keyboard, but in this case, just to show you my steps, the steps that I do. If you play the piano very well, you're familiar with the keyboard, you don't have to write it down, but writing it down really shows you the steps that you do, and then you are more likely to be correct and feel correct, feel safer, if you know what I mean. Okay, last one. In this question, we need to circle true or false depending on the statements, if they are correct or incorrect. And we need to compare the three bars. Now, to answer this, I always say, think of this memorime that you can find in one of my videos. The links are in the description below or up here. It's a memorime that I created, and it goes like this. If the pitch you want to know, middle C, are you above or below? Here in bass clef, middle C is here. So this note is just one above middle C. In the alto clef, middle C is here where the two bubbles meet. So middle C is here. And this note is just one above middle C. So they are the same. In the treble clef, middle C is down here. So this note is one octave above middle C. Okay. So A and B are the same, and C is one octave above. I've answered all the questions already. A and B are at the same pitch. I've just said that, yes. B is one octave lower than C. Now, B is here basically. So it is one octave lower. Yes. A is one octave higher than C. This is impossible. We can't even have to reflect on that because A and B are the same. So if this is lower, this must be lower too. So false. A bit of logic, a bit of musical thinking, and a bit of maths. This is all you need. Happy? Shall we move on? Let's go. This chapter 3 counts a lot because it gives you maximum 15 points out of 75, and it's a good amount, a good proportion of your marks. So make sure the keys and scales are very clearly understood, And there is a reason for that. Keys and scales are important in music, but I'm here for make you understand more deeply and better. So here I am. We need to take the correct time signature of B major, which has 5 sharps, and in fact B minus 1 semitone is La, and this is the last. We have 4 time signatures in treble clef, alto, tenor and bass clef. Now I always recommend to start from the shape of the key signature, because the shape is everything. All the clefs apart from the tenor clef have this shape. 3 curves, of which the last one is the second one is bigger. And in the tenor clef, it's like that. It's a zigzagging ascending wave. So where do we have this? This looks okay. This is incorrect because it doesn't have this shape. This is it could be correct. And this one here is incorrect because the longer curve occurs at the beginning, so no. Okay, we've excluded 2. Now let's double check the starting sharp. Fa, do, sol, re, la. So the order of the sharps is fa, do, sol, re, la, mi, si. And if you don't call the note with their Latin name, you can always remember the phrase fun colouring gigantic drawings after eating breakfast, or you can make up your own phrase using the initials. Now this is middle C, and do, si, la, sol. This is G. So this is not the first sharp of any key signature. So it is incorrect, and the right answer is the treble clef. Done. In this one we need to do the same but with flats. E flat minor is the relative minor of 3 semitones above G flat major, and G flat major has lots of flats. G flat is the penultimate, so si, mi, la, re, sol, do, 6. All of them are 6 flats, so we can't exclude any of them because of the number of flats. The flat shape is this, a descending, zigzagging shape. We don't have it here because we need a curve up. We don't have it here, look at this. We might have it here, but look at this. This breaks the pattern. Si, mi, la, re, sol, do. It's 1 down, so goodbye. And here it must be correct. Do, si, so this is B. Si, mi, la, re, sol, do. Correct. Done. As you can see, only with a shape. I've sorted this out. I hope this makes things easier for you guys. I'm trying. Let me know. Let's move on. Okay, this is one of the most laborious and confusing questions for the students. So let's sort it out properly and not in a rush. First of all, we have 3 melodies and we need to circle the correct key. But we don't have the key signature, so we need to find it out by using the evidence that we have. First of all, we have flat sharps, so I'm going to write the order of the sharps. Fa, do, sol, re, la, mi, si. Fun colouring gigantic drawings after eating breakfast. The flats are the other way around. Si, mi, la, re, sol, do, fa. Big elephants ate dinosaurs, goat cheese and figs. Now, first of all, let's identify the last accidental in the key signature if we can. We have B and we have E. So it means that we have 2 flats in this key signature. We don't have La flat, so definitely they are 2. And when we have 2 flats, we are in B flat major because the key is given by the penultimate flat. So B flat major. Why are we not in E flat? Because in E flat, the last flat would be A. We don't have it here. In F major, we only have one flat, B, so no. And in B flat minor, this is the relative minor of D flat major, and D flat has 5 flats, Si, Mi, La, Re, and Sol. So, by excluding the other answers, we enforced that this one is the correct one. Next one. Similarly, we need to find the last sharp of the key signature. We have, so, oh, by the way, bass clef, so make sure that you read the notes correctly. If you read this Mi instead of Sol, so E instead of G, you're not going to have a correct answer here. So, Sol, Fa, Re, Do, and then Sol, Fa. Perfect. So far we have 4 sharps. The last one is Re, and plus 1 semitone equals E major. So we do have E major in our option, and I think that the answer is E major. Now, why is it not A major? Because A major minus 1 has only 3 sharps. E minor is the relative minor of G major and has just 1 sharp. B major has 5 sharps because B minus 1 semitone is A sharp, so it has 5 sharps. So we've excluded here again the wrong answers. Last one, treble clef, La, Si, Do. Let's do this now. Do sharp, Sol sharp, Fa sharp, Mi sharp, and Do sharp. Ah, this is interesting, very interesting. What does it mean when we have a sharp far away from the last one? So usually it wouldn't be possible to have a sharp here without these ones. You have them all or you stop before. However, there is one case in which we could have this situation, and it's when the isolated sharp is the leading note. It's 1 semitone before the tonic. E sharp plus 1 semitone is F sharp. And this is the case when we need to add an accidental in the minor keys. So F sharp minor, do we have it? Yes, here. This is in F sharp minor. And let's have it proved. F sharp plus 3 semitones is A. A minus 1 semitone is G. So G is the last sharp in the key signature. And that makes sense to me. A major can't be because it can't have E sharp. C sharp minor is the relative minor of E major. It means that it should have a D sharp as well. And we should have the leading note, which is B sharp, and we don't have it here. D major has only 2 sharps, so it wouldn't be possible to have G sharp and E sharp. So, sorted. I think I'm getting quicker in explaining this question. I hope that it makes things clear, guys. Thank you so much to all the ones who messaged me about how useful my videos are. Please keep in touch. I love it. Let's move on to the next one. Here we need to choose one of the notes to complete the scale of C sharp minor, melodic minor. The melodic minor descending is the natural scale, therefore is like the relative major, and the relative major is E major. Okay, this is in tenor clef. Tenor clef is treble clef minus 1, so this is not Re sharp, but is Re minus 1, C sharp. Okay, Do sharp. Now, Do, Si. So we need to find a B. We can exclude D because D can't be. This is Do, Si, B. E major has 4 sharps. fa, do, sol, and re. Do, si, B. Is it sharp? No. We can exclude B double sharp as well, because B double sharp will be C sharp again. So we can't have twice the same note. And now B sharp would be the leading note, one semitone below the tonic. But in this case, we can't use it because B sharp would be the note in the harmonic scale, not the melodic. So the answer is B. Do, si, la, sol, fa, mi, re. This is a D. Goodbye, fa. And we have three options. Sorry, let me just delete this. Okay, so we have D double sharp, D and D sharp. Which one? D is sharp already, so I think it's D sharp. D sharp is in the key signature, so D sharp. What's the reason to have D double sharp? No reason. What's the reason to have D natural if the sharp is in the key signature? So D sharp. Sorted. That is all done. Let's turn the page together. Another laborious and tedious question. And I did say in one of my videos that think it in this way. There are no shortcuts here, but there are in some other questions. And do compensate. The time that you spend on this question would be compensated by the very quick questions. So, not all is lost. But here, guys, no shortcuts. We need to try all the clefs because we need to select one of the clefs that would make these three scales a minor scale. So, we need to really find the right answer and exclude the wrong ones. Okay, so the only way to do this is to start with the first clef and then go on until we find the right answer. In the treble clef, this would be B flat. Okay, B flat minor would be the relative minor of D flat. Let me write again the order: fa, do, sol, re, la, mi, si. And the flats: si, mi, la, re, sol, do, fa. Okay. The relative major of B flat would be D flat major, 3 semitones above, and it has 5 flats: si, mi, la, re, and sol. So this is si, mi, la is not flat, re, sol. This could be because the only reason why this is not flat but natural is because it has been raised by a semitone. And this is the case of the harmonic scale. So this could be a harmonic scale of B flat minor. Let's do that again. Si, mi, la, re, sol, and si is doubled. So this is the right answer, I think. But let's exclude the other ones. In the bass clef, this will be D flat minor, which doesn't exist because the relative major would be F flat, and F flat doesn't exist. It exists E major, but not F flat major, so this is not possible. In the alto clef, this is B flat plus 1 is C flat. C flat doesn't exist, minor doesn't exist, because it would be the minor key, the relative minor of E double flat major. It doesn't exist. In the tenor clef, treble clef minus 1, this is A flat minor. Again, it doesn't exist because it would be the relative minor of a possible C flat major It doesn't exist. So the answer is the treble clef. Second example, sharps. Let's see. In the treble clef, I don't expect another treble clef, but let's go in order. In the treble clef, this will be Mi sharp, and Mi sharp minor doesn't exist because it would be G sharp major, but G sharp major doesn't exist. Instead, A flat does exist, so this is not possible. In the bass clef, this is G sharp, and G sharp minor does exist and is the relative minor of B major. B major has A is the last sharp, has 5 sharps. So let's see. Sol, La, Si, Do, Re, Mi, Fa double sharp and Sol. Let's go in order again. Sol, La, Si, Do, Re, Mi, and then Fa double sharp, raised, and Sol. So in this case, we have Mi raised up and Fa raised up. And this is the melodic scale. This could be in the melodic scale. So basically, we have Fa, Do, Sol, Re, La as the sharps in the key signature. And then Fa and the 6th and the 7th degrees have been raised. So I think the answer is the bass clef. But let's exclude the other 2 clefs. +1, treble clef +1 is alto clef. So sharp, it becomes A sharp, and A sharp minor doesn't exist. -1 equals D sharp, and D sharp minor doesn't exist because F sharp major doesn't exist either. Is the enharmonic flat equivalent that exists. So the answer is bass clef. Last one. In the treble clef, this will be Do. Do minor is the relative minor of E flat, and we need to have 3 flats. So this can't be. In bass clef, this is Mi minor, E, and E minor is the relative minor of G major with sharps, so it can't be. Now the alto clef is treble clef +1. This is Do +1 equals D. If this is D, D minor is the relative minor of F major, and F major has 1 flat, and this could be the melodic descending scale of D minor. Let's exclude the tenor clef, bass clef, treble clef -1. So Do -1 equals B. B minor is the relative minor of D major, which has sharps, so it can be. So the answer is the alto clef. Done. Perfect. I hope this was useful. As you can see, it's not too long once you know the procedure, but you really need to do the procedure step by step. Otherwise, you miss something out and then you could be wrong. Let's move on. Exercise 6. In this question, we need to tell whether the 2 chromatic scales are correctly or incorrectly written. So we need a keyboard. Okay, now Do sharp, Re, Re sharp, Mi, Mi sharp, and Fa. Here it is. This is the same note. That's already incorrect. So this is false. We don't need to go further. It's false. Mi sharp and Fa are the same note. So this is one of them is not needed. Let's move on. Bass clef, A flat, La flat, Sol, So flat, Fa, Mi flat, Re flat, Do flat, C double flat, and La flat. This looks correct. Let's do that again. La flat, Sol, So flat, Fa, Mi flat, Re flat, Do flat, Si flat, C double flat, La flat. Yes, they start and end on the same note, so true. Perfect. Sorted. With a keyboard, this is very quick, so I do recommend to draw a keyboard and do exactly what I'm doing here. 7th question, and also the last one of this 3rd chapter. We need to circle true or false depending on what we read here. Do sharp is the dominant, so the 5th degree, of F sharp major. Now, F sharp major has lots of sharps. The penultimate sharp is E. So, Fa, Do, Mi. So, Fa, Do, Sol, Re, La, Mi. 6. First of all, is this the 5th? Fa, Sol, La, Si, Do. Yes. Now, Do. Is Do sharp in the key signature? Fa, Do, Sol, Re, La, Mi. Yes, Do is the 2nd sharp of any key signature, so this is correct. La is the tonic of C major, can be. The tonic of C major is the 1st degree, so it's C, that's false. Easy peasy. B is the median, the 3rd degree of G major. G major, so Sol, La, Si, is the 3rd degree. Is it sharp or flat? No, because G major has 1 sharp and is F, so nothing relating to B, so that is correct. And this was very quick. As I said, we compensated the time that we spent on another question in this chapter. So we can move on to chapter 4. Okay, this chapter relates to intervals, and this is also a very big topic in music. Let's make sure that we know what to do here as well. We need to name the intervals and choose which of the options is the correct one. There is a compound interval here, and I can see it because it's above the octave. So bass clef, this is C sharp, so Do sharp, and I can't remember the name of this note. I count. This is Do in the bass clef, Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol. C sharp, G. Now, this is a compound interval. We can name it compound and then the name of the interval, or we can add 7 plus the interval. So the simple interval will be a 5th, Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol. So both of them could be correct. 5 plus 7 equals 12. So this is a 12th. None of them is correct. So now we need to say, is the simple interval an augmented or diminished 5th? What we need to do is to raise up, then make it simple basically by raising this up or lowering this down. I would just do this so we remain in the stave. Okay. Keyboard. I think I'll do it. Well, it doesn't really matter. It's a bit long. Okay. A 5th is 3 tones and a half apart. So from C sharp, let's see. 1, 2, and 3. So it is not a perfect 5th, but is a lax 1 semitone. So it's diminished. This is a compound diminished fifth. Sorted. Let's carry on. We have flats here. Don't forget to name the notes as they are. This is B flat. B flat, perfect octave. Sorted. That's the easiest. I love octaves. I love them. They are my favourites. So quick. B flat, perfect octave. La do is a third, and we do have just thirds here. Now a third is two tones. Let's have a look. La, 1.5. It lacks one semitone here, which means that it's not major but minor. Sorry, minor. There you go. Finished. Shall we move on to the next one? Let's do it. In this second question, we need to circle the correct type of interval, and we need a keyboard here as well, I'm afraid. Okay, a fourth is 2 tones and a half, so sharp, do sharp, don't forget. 1, 2.5. Perfect. And in fact, this is a perfect interval of fourth. This is a compound interval, and we can see it because they are further than an octave apart. So what do? We let's raise this up. Fa, La sharp is a third. A third to be major, it needs 2 tones. So let's have a look. 1 and 2. But we have an extra semitone, so it is not major but augmented. Augmented. Let's do that again. 1, 2.5. So it's augmented. Why is this not a fourth? Because fa, sol, la is a third, and the names of the notes are important. Why? You can understand this why now. Because if we have a chord where we have fa, la, sharp and do, this is one chord. If we have fa, B flat and do, that's another chord. So to name the chords for harmony, the names of the notes are important. If this note is A sharp, that's one chord. If this note is B flat, is another chord. Okay, so it's not a fourth, but it's a third. Now, last one, do mi flat, B double flat is a third. So 1 and 2, this will be the major interval, minor diminished. So again, 1 and 2, do mi, that is the major interval. Minor, diminished, so diminished. Sorted. Third exercise, we need to write the interval to form what is written here. So let's write. The note should be higher, and this is very important, and it's in bold for a reason. So don't forget to put it higher. A compound major third. I'm afraid we need another keyboard. I should have written it here in the first place. So sharp, let's write first the simple interval, and then we raise the note that we found up by an octave. So sharp, a major third is 2 tones above. So first of all, we need to write a B. First, this note is called B because sol, la, si. So it could be B sharp, B double sharp. We can't call it C or C sharp or D flat. So sharp, 1 and 2. Now this note must be called B. So it is not B natural, but B sharp. This is the answer. Now we raise it up by an octave, and we found this note here. Here it is. Okay, I hope that this is clear why we must call this note B, because if we call it Do, that will be a fourth instead of a third. Sol, La, Si, Do. We can't have a fourth for the same reason that I said above, because a chord with Sol, Si, Re, G, B, D is a chord. A chord with G, C, and D, Sol, Do, Re is another chord. So in harmony, this is essential, is crucial, absolutely. And it's like calling people, you see. If your name is Sophia, I can't call you Anna. So it is important to name the notes with the names that they must have. Okay? La flat, a perfect fifth is first of all the name of the note. So La, Si, Do, Re, Mi, I. Okay. Sorry. I. Then a perfect fifth is 3.5 semitones from the note. La flat. 1, 2, 3.5. And this is E flat. Again. 1, 2, 3.5. Mi flat. Next one. B flat. Okay. An augmented seventh. Okay, this is interesting. I need space here. I have a system that I found myself, and you won't find it in any book. So listen to it carefully. An augmented seventh here means a diminished second down. So B, we must write an A and make it a diminished second. So a diminished second from B flat means that the A, so A would be a minor, diminished when we shorten the distance. So from B flat to an A, we shorten the distance by raising up A, and A has to be sharp. So now if we flip it over, it becomes an augmented seventh, because flipped over is a diminished second. Sharp. La sharp. So what did I do here? I found the major or minor. You can do this. So from B flat, okay, the major second will be this. Minor, diminished. And you need to call this note A. So A sharp. I hope this is clear. It's a bit confusing when they are over each other, but go and watch other videos if you want to have this explained with different notes, because if you go to other videos of the other book, Music Theories Sample Papers, published in 2020, there are 4 other sample exams that are answered and explained, and you have more of these cases in there. A major 6, that's another case. I can do it here as well. A major 6 becomes a minor third. Let's write it down actually. A minor third from B is G, okay. Sol, La, Si, okay, third. Now a minor third from B is a major third is 2 tones, so 1 and 2, but a minor is when I shorten the distance, so sharp. This is a minor third. If I flip it over, it becomes a major sixth. So this. Done. Happy? Shall we turn the page together? Let's do it. Chords. We have 3 questions relating to chords. One is a further development of the previous one. First of all, we need to indicate whether the chords that could be formed with the notes of the melody are first, second, fourth or fifth. So, first of all, the key signature, Fa plus one semitone is Sol, G major. It starts with Sol, it ends on Sol, so G major. There will be some passage notes, and passage notes occur when there is a note that is between the two chord notes and it doesn't relate to the chord, but it's a note that we touch and go, basically. It's a passage note. In this case, I think the passage note is B because it breaks the pattern of one on, one off, one on, one off. Because let's remember that the chord has this shape. Any chord has this shape. One note is on, one off, on, off, on. Now you can change the order of the notes. If you put them back again to the root position, you would have this. Okay? So, La, Do, Mi. This is the chord. La, Si, Do, Re, Mi. On, off, on, off, on. This. Remember this because I am going to use this system for the whole page. La is the root note of the chord and for Sol is the second degree. So 2. Re, Fa sharp. Of course, this is La that is missing here. We have 2 out of 3 notes, but the missing one is La. Because if you put B here, B is the 3rd degree of G and it's not within our options. So the missing note is La, and D for G is the 5th. Also, these chords should form a cadence, and 2-5 is a cadence, is the imperfect cadence. If I would put something like the 3rd, 2-3, it's not a cadence. So be wise. Think musically. Next line. Sol, Do, Mi. So, Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol. Do is the bottom note, okay? And for G is the 4th degree. Sol, La, Si, Do. So 4. There is a passage note here, and this passage note is Mi, because of course he breaks the pattern of one on, one off, one on, one off, one on. Re, Fa, La, same as here, 5. Sol, La, Si, Do, Re, here. So, Re, Sol, of course, this is G, Re, and the missing note is the central one, B. So, that's the tonic. And in fact, 4-5-1 is an extended perfect cadence. Done. Happy? Is it all clear? Let's move on because this goes further in the next question. Here we need to find the name of the cadences. Basically, I've done it in the previous one, but it wasn't a question. So let's do everything back again. C major, we have, first of all, we need to find the correct order of the chord notes. So we find the root position of the chord. Then we identify the bottom note and we relate that to C major. So we have Sol, Re, Sol, Si. G is doubled. So we can cross one out. Let's put them in order. Sol, La, Si, Do, Re. Sol is the bottom note. And for C major, Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol is the 5th. Given the fact that we have as options imperfect, perfect, and plagal, I think this is 5-1. That's the perfect cadence. But let's have it proved. The other chord is made up of Do, Mi, Sol and another Do, and Do is repeated, Do, Mi, Sol is in order, Do is the main note and is the tonic. In fact, the cadence is 5-1, which is perfect. In F major, we have B flat, Re, Fa, and B flat. B flat is doubled. C, Re, Fa, that's in order. B flat is the root note for F major, is Fa, Sol, La, Si, 4th. Now, the second chord could be 4-5 as an imperfect cadence or 4-1 as a plagal cadence. So we really need to check. I already see that this is Fa, so that's F major is 5-1, but let's do it properly. Fa, Do, Fa, La. Fa is doubled. Fa, Sol, La, Si, Do. Perfect. Fa. Here it is, 5-1. 4-1 is a plagal cadence. Brilliant. Now, the third exercise of the page goes a step further. So let's do it. Here we need to identify the 3 chords and also identify the position of the chords, whether it is A, so root position, B, first inversion, or C, second inversion. Now, I'll tell you my system is very clear and quick. We are in E major. This chord is E major, it ends in E major, so it's E major as opposed to be also in C minor, C sharp minor, but I don't think in this exam you could find a minor key. But anyway, now the chord notes are F sharp, Do sharp, F sharp, and La. Fa sharp is doubled, and Fa, Sol, La, Si, Do is the order. Fa, Sol, La, Si, Do. Fa, La, Do. F sharp, 4, E is the second degree, okay? Now, which note? So we can exclude 4A and 5B. So which note do we have at the bottom of the chord? Do we have F sharp? Do we have La or do we have Do sharp? We have Fa sharp. So it's Fa, 2A, this, 2A. Second chord, we have La, Do sharp, Mi, and La. La is doubled. La, Si, Do, Re, Mi, that's already in order. La for E major is Mi, Fa, Sol, La, 4th. We can exclude 2B and 2A. Now 4. At the bottom of our chord on the stave, do we have La, Do sharp or Mi? It's La. So it's 4A. 4A. Last chord, Si, Si, Mi, and So sharp. Si is doubled. In order is Sol, La, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Si. Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Si. Mi is the main note and is also the tonic. So it's 1. Now, which note do we have at the bottom? Is it Mi, G sharp or B? It's B. So it's 1, C. And here it is. Excellent. That's all sorted. I hope that this method is useful for you. I think it's quicker than the grid that sometimes I see, because we go chord by chord and then we don't need to do much about the chords. It's just put them in order, and yeah, it makes things easier, I think. But you might want to draw the grid, and that's all fine, honestly, as long as you get to the right answer. I will show you my method, but you can make up your own one, or your teacher might have told you another method, and it's fine as long as you get to the right answer. Now let's move on to the 6th section of this exam, which relates to terms in science. and instruments. Here, there's not much to say apart from learn it by heart and be guided by the experience. Every time you go to a concert, observe what they do, what they say, the instruments, the material, the way they produce the sound. And every time you play a piece, do read the instructions in Italian, in French, in German, and try to relate that to how you play. That's the only shortcut. Experience is the best way. Of course, it's hard to build experience if you're a student, but nowadays you can go on YouTube and then see lots of things. You can see people playing, you can see the instruments inside out. You can also watch the score as other people play. So you're very lucky to have all these resources online available for free. So I would use them if I were you. Do use what you have. Attacca means go straight on. Attacca. Attacca means start playing. You can find this term between two movements, for example, of a sonata or of a piece, and it says that you shouldn't pause at the end of the piece, but you should go straight on to the next one. So attacca, it's a very Italian term, and I'm Italian, so this is a German term, traurig, and it means sad. How do I know it? I just remember it. That's it. If you're German, you'll be fine. Con brio, that's another Italian name. It means, brio means verve. It means that you are bubbling. It means that you are... You see, when you see your friends and you're all happy to see them, and it's a group of friends, we say, hello, let's do this, let's start. That's the brio, okay? When you can't really go slow. Nobody is slow. Everyone is so excited and yeah, excitement, this pleasant excitement of joy. That's the brio. So let's see what is with vigor, lively. That's it. Okay, done. Second question. Tick one of the box that shows the right name of the developed ornament. This is this, and this is a mordent. Upper mordent. It can't be a turn because the turn needs 5 notes at least. Acciaccatura is only 2 notes and appoggiatura as well, 2 notes. So it's a mordent. And you can see that the shape is the same. This is the turn because you have several notes, and the shape exactly is this. Is a turn or gruppetto. Note, upper note, note, lower note, note. Okay, so this shape. Turn, gruppetto. Done. In the third question, we need to circle true or false. And here again, knowledge. The piccolo is a transposing instrument. Ah, this is interesting. Yes, it is. And it transposes an octave higher. The piccolo is a smaller flute, and it does transpose an octave higher. And the reason why it transposes is because when we write it, imagine a stave, okay? The flute might play up here, for example, and is already high. The piccolo would play up here. So imagine the ledger lines. To avoid that, we just say that the piccolo transposes 1 octave higher. That's it, and reads in the treble clef. True. The celesta produces sounds of definite pitch. Yes, it does. Yes, exactly. The celesta is like a piano, so true. The trumpet is the highest sounding brass instrument. Yes, it is. I don't know any other brass instruments that can play higher than a trumpet or brass. not brass. So yes, it is. A baritone voice is higher than a tenor voice. No, it isn't. It's lower. In order is bass, baritone, tenor, and then alto, mezzo soprano, soprano. That's the voice, the human voice order, in order from the lowest to the highest. A double bass can be played pizzicato. Yes, of course. Jazz music is all mainly played with pizzicato. So if you see a contrabass in a jazz band, they would mainly play without the bow, without arco. They would actually pluck the strings. So yes, it's a string instrument. Done. Let's turn the page. This is the last section of the exam. We need to observe a score and answer the questions. The first one is about pitch. We need to compare these bars with bar 7 of the left-hand piano part and then compare it. So I'm going to write it here. I'm not writing the... Oh, well, let's do it properly, shall we? Oh dear. I wasn't looking. Fa, do, sol. Then we have Fa down here. Okay. Again here, if the pitch you want to know, middle C, are you above or below? Oh, let's write the second note here. Okay, A, middle C in treble clef is here. Middle C in the alto clef is here. These are the same. A and B are at the same pitch. And in the tenor clef is here. So A, B, C are at the same pitch. The original one, so the original one is lower because middle C is here. So it's lower, it's an octave lower. Only A and C, so there is only one correct statement that we need to identify. So A and C are correctly rewritten one octave higher, no, because B is the same. Only B and C are correctly rewritten an octave higher, no. Only A is correctly rewritten an octave higher, no. A, B and C are correctly rewritten one octave higher, yes, because they are the same. Lower, lower, lower than middle C. Here, very low. Sorted. Here, the key here is to identify middle C. Once you have that, it's done. You only need to observe. Shall we move on to question 2? We need to circle through or false. The lowest note in the extract is B. And this is false because it's D. All the notes in the cello part can be found in F sharp melodic minor. Now in F sharp melodic minor, we would have E sharp, D sharp, or going upwards, or E natural, D natural going down as per the descending melodic scale. Because of Do natural. In bar 11 we have Do natural, and that doesn't belong to the F sharp melodic minor scale. The largest melodic interval in bar 1-4 of the left-hand piano part is a compound minor second, and here I'm afraid you have to look through it and see if you can identify a largest thing. We have a fifth, we have a fourth, we have a fifth, we have a fifth, a third, we have a fifth, a second, a third, and I'm afraid this is incorrect. False. So far, everything was false. A compound minor second, it means a ninth. We don't have an interval of that distance. The first note in the cello part is marked to be played with a down bow. Now, Yes, it is, because this symbol means down bow. True. A major has the same key signature of F sharp minor. Yes, because it's the relative major, and we can find it by going up by 3 semitones. True. Let's move on. Which instrument could play this song keeping the same pitch without struggling, without playing notes out of its compass? I would exclude triangle because it plays with indefinite pitch. I would exclude flute and violin because they are really high up, and in fact they read in treble clef. The only instrument left is trombone. Trombone, yes, that's quite low. How many times the dominant of C sharp minor, which is of F sharp minor, which is C sharp, is the 5th degree, appear in the first 6 bars of the cello part? We need to count, basically. And if we count, we find it 3 times. C sharp, we have it 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, 3 times. The very last question of this exam. Complete the 2 sentences by adding a number. The notes and rhythm in the piano part of bar 2 are the same as those in bar 6. The tight notes in the cello part of bar 9 are worth X number of demisemiquavers. We have dotted crotchet tied to a crotchet. Now, a crotchet is made up of 2 quavers. So we have 2 quavers in the first one and 3 quavers in the second. 2 quavers in the second one and 3 quavers in the first one. Each quaver has 4 demisemiquavers, so 4 times 5. So 4 times 5, 20. Okay, so each of them is 2 quavers. 2 quavers plus 1 is 5 quavers. Each quaver is made up of 4 demisemiquavers, so 4 times 5 equals 20. Sorted. And the exam is complete. I hope this was useful. Let me know, leave me a comment. I always read them and I always reply. Also, let me know how your exam goes. I am very curious and I hope all of you will get a distinction. Thank you for watching. Bye bye. Thank you for watching my video. I hope it was useful. Don't forget to leave a like down there and share it with your friends. If it was useful for you, it will be useful for other people too. Now, if you want more sample papers published by ABRSM, click here and find the video you're looking for. In the meantime, I would like to thank all the ones who are messaging me and leaving comments. You know that I always read them and I always reply. And thanks to all the ones who are telling me that thanks to my videos, they have improved and feel more confident. This makes me so happy. What else to say? Happy music, everyone. Bye.